Okay, this is Holly Knight working with Hallie, and this video was sent to me, or actually these three swings, three at bats, were sent to me September 17th, 2020, and I believe it's a game the last day or two. So let's go ahead and talk about a few things here that I'm seeing in the video. So I'm going to say number one is I think she's been hitting the ball pretty good as of lately, possibly. I know she hit the ball okay the other day and or pretty good the other day. But so we got to be careful sometimes of evaluating ourselves on what we've done the last three at bats. You want to try to evaluate yourself over 10 at bats. How are you doing over those 10 at bats? Are you succeeding? And we're pretty much shooting for 4 or 5. 5 would be a great 10 at bats, but 4 or 5 at least. Hits, singles, clean hits, singles, doubles, triples, home runs, not just getting on base. Of course, some of those may be walks and that sort of thing, so that you don't want to count those. So any at bats that are not walks or hit by pitch, any of those type of things, the last 10, you want to try to get 4 or 5 clean hits in that area. So if you're doing that, then you're having a pretty good streak of at bats. So that means, of course, in one game you can go 0 for 3, and then the next game go 2 for 3, and then another game go 1 for 3. So that's 3 for 9. Then the first at bat you can get a hit, so that's 4 for 10. So that's a pretty good, I guess, number to kind of shoot for. With that said, is when you were not struggling, or if you're struggling in the game, you still want to try to see what possibly is going on. So we do want to talk about that. So there's 3 areas that I look at strong as much as I can, especially in this situation, like in live pitching situation. Number one is, what's the swing look like? What's the mechanics of the swing? Hallie's swing is pretty good. There's a few things we're going to talk about here that is going to cause maybe some issues. That's what we work a lot, of course, on lessons is the swing. And of course, that means from the stance to the follow through, all the aspects of the swing. And with the belief that most of us believe, which is true, I think that most of the time, if our swing is good, that enables us to make quality contact. Quality contact is what we're shooting for every at bat as much as we can. And even though we may have quality contact, we can still make an out. We can line out to the center fielder. We can hit the ball hard to the pitcher and she can catch it. Quality contact. So the quality contact, we want at least 5 out of 10, even though we're not getting any hits doing that. So the swing itself can be a factor in that. Although we know there are some hitters that do not have great swings, that have the ability to make quality contact often, and other hitters that have great swings that struggle with quality contact. That's usually based on some other factors we'll talk about here in a second. Quality contact is hitting the sweet spot of the bat, the middle of the barrel, on the middle of the ball. And if we break down the ball into thirds, we got the middle third. That's where we want to hit. It can be a little high, which is going to be maybe a hard ground ball, a little bit low, which is going to be maybe a really good line drive, a little bit high line drive. Missing under that third or above that third is what we don't want to do, the top third or the bottom third. And these swings, Hallie is missing the bottom third in all of the swings, and we'll talk about here. So quality contact is what we're shooting for all the time. And if you're not getting quality contact, there's something going on. There's something that's causing that. Now, again, the third thing can be, there's about 3 things that may cause that. Number one, the pitcher may be really, really good, or the pitcher may be really, really bad. We assume sometimes that the pitcher is slow, that they're really bad, but that does mess up our timing. Timing being the number one aspect of hitting. And that, of course, enables our vision. That takes our vision is a factor of that. Our timing that enables us to make quality contact in the middle of the third. So the timing is a big factor, which is, of course, a component of, or is an aspect of vision, how well we're seeing the ball and stuff. If the pitcher is really good, it affects our timing. It affects our ability to hit the middle third. If she's not very good, sometimes we do things that causes us to miss the middle third. We may try to hit the ball a little bit too hard. We may overswing. We may do a lot of those type of things. So with those three things here, we do see three pop-ups. So that is missing quality contact, and it is consistent missing quality contact in the same place. So we will talk about it a little bit. So let's go about the mechanics real quick. I'm going to fast forward into the third at bat because we can see a little bit better here. Hallie just took a pitch for a ball, high pitch for a ball. And we're going to look like stance. Everything is good, like the stance, open, and everything is good there. So we go from stance to our load. Let's see what our load looks like. So there's our stance. All right, pretty good. Load, pitcher's getting ready to go. Okay, so here's the load. It's this movement. It's coming back. The body goes back. Now from there, it looks like you are on top of that foot. From the angle, it's hard to see, but you don't want to be that knee directly over that foot. Again, it's hard. If you're not over the foot, it's really close. So you may be a little bit too much at that point. Now, that is early in the load. That's not a giant issue if you can make the adjustment into your launch position. All right, so you load your weight back. So you right there, you're pretty good. You can see it looks like you're probably inside that foot a little bit better there. So you load your weight back. All right, so there's not a lot of movement in the load in your hands at this point. It's just your weight goes back. There's nothing else with your hands. I think we talked about last week, we want to get the hands actually literally going back. Okay, and there's that leg kick there. This movement right there. That's a lot of movement that can cause a lot of problems there. But again, it looks like you're starting it. So you can see she hadn't pitched it yet. You're starting it early, which is what you have to do, which is great. You want to be loaded about, depending on the velocity of the pitcher, but especially when you get to be a junior, senior in high school, in college, you want to think about loading about there. You want to be loaded. Loaded is the hands are back and a foot is down. So obviously your foot is not down at this point. At this age, and it looks like the pitcher does not throw very hard. It's either a curveball maybe, which is going to be a little bit slower. Don't think it's a changeup. It's either a curveball or she just doesn't throw very fast. We'll talk about in our lesson tonight. All right. So at this point, then the hands are not really moving, but then you go back behind your head. That's the one thing I haven't seen before. I haven't noticed before. You can see the hands are behind the head. So if the hands had eyes, they can't see the ball right now. And think in terms as the hands want to be able to at least pretty much see the ball, because if they can't get in that path, that makes it hard to stay inside the ball. So what happens is, I'll see if we can do this. You have your hands kind of have a tendency to go out before they go forward, if that makes any sense. So we'll talk about that. Later in a lesson tonight. So this is pretty much the launch position. Again, I'd like to see the hands a little bit more in this area right here. Hands behind the head, as I said. Body in pretty good shape. Weight is pretty good. So you did make the adjustment. You got to that point where you're pretty much in this triangle position from belly button to in that position there, kind of like a triangle in that position there. So that's good. Excuse me. All right, bat angle is good. Everything is pretty good there. Now it looks like you can see the catcher right here. It looks like the pitch is it started. It's kind of coming upward a little bit. Again, based on her release, it looks like it might be a curveball. It's going to go away from you. Might be the one of the issues here. All right, so you can see the weight is going forward. All right. And then right here is there's an exaggerated forward movement, A little bit too much probably, and I'm thinking it might be like a little bit of a lunge because I think you might have been fooled. It's a little bit slower than you thought it would be, so you're going to be out in front of it. However, the number one thing is you want your hands to be in a good place, and your hands are in a good place. Okay, so everything is good there. Like, see your weight being back still in that kind of a triangle. So there would be the triangle with your belly button, but you can see it's here and there, so it's not a true triangle. You're kind of out in front there. Okay, and coming forward, barrel still looks good. Everything still looks good, but you can see right there, you missed under the ball and actually kind of late. Can't tell from where the catcher is trying to catch it, but it looks like she, if you can see her knee is going this way, like she's leaning toward outside. So it might have been an outside pitch. If that's the case, it needs to go toward right center field. And just missed underneath it. Now, also, it looks like there's a little bit of flying open. That's that front side. We know that's been going on. See how, like, right here, that front side is going toward left field. You can see the hip. Everything is this way when you want to be straight up and down, where you can drive it to right center field. Okay, so there's some lunging going on. The hands behind the head. With that, again, it might be a curveball or a changeup or a slower pitch. Not positive on that there. That's now you stayed through it pretty good. So you can see the bat path is through it. Everything looks pretty good there, but you didn't see it real well. It looks like your eye contact is right there. You can see the head moving out. It should be moving. You can see the head kind of going this path. Make a little bit of arrow there. It should be going this path, looking at the ball. So you can see this a little bit. I'll clear that. Yeah, we'll go this way. You can see the head kind of at contact going out. Instead, it should be coming back toward the ball. So that's a big thing, not seeing the ball real well. So you're missing contact, missing the bottom third. Okay. This one right here, pretty much the same. You can see the front side coming out this way, and you missed on the bottom third. This one, it's a foul ball out in front, missed the bottom third. Okay, so you're not really swinging up necessarily to get it up there. You're just attacking the lower third of the ball. Now that actually does look like a possibly a curveball, but it, I think that was pitched. You see the catcher moves in, so that got on your hands a little bit. So that was inside. Okay, so again, eye contact, you can see right there, kind of looking, obviously not looking at trees, but you're looking in that direction. There's the ball, and you should be, head should be down on the ball, especially there at that contact. And everything else looks pretty good except for that. You're not flying open as much there. You can see that front foot is kind of closed pretty good. So we need to work on the eye contact, staying tight with that front side, and just really attacking that middle third more of the ball. So we'll keep working on it, and we'll see you tonight.